everyone, welcome to Analyst IAS. So today is 11th April 2022 and in Editorial of the Day series, first we are going to discuss the article Getting Serious About Supporting the Care Economy. So before starting the discussion, I want to inform you that Polity Foundation course for 2023 and Ethics Crash course for Mains 2022 are about to start in our institute by Nitin Shivhare sir. For more details, you can call on given numbers. So now let's start the discussion. So this article is given on the editorial page of today's The Hindu newspaper. So this article is basically about care economy. So in this article, author have talked about female care worker who work as caretaker like feeding a baby or nursing a ill patient or any direct or indirect care activity. So basically in this article, author has explained that what are the issues that can arise in growing the care economy and how they can be overcome. So author said that greater investment in care services can create an additional 300 million jobs globally, many of which will be for women. In turn, this will help increase female labor force participation and advance sustainable development goals, which is to promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. It means if we pay attention to the care economy, then we can help women to get employment, and this can make a huge contribution to the global economy. Further, author said that there are still many things in the care economy which are not being taken into consideration, and we need to make policies accordingly so that it can be improved. Like every year, 8th March is celebrated as International Women's Day. The immense contribution of women to all spheres of life is often overlooked, unfairly valued, and hardly rewarded. This is particularly evident in care work, both paid and unpaid, which is crucial to the future of decent work. Care work encompasses direct activities such as feeding a baby or nursing an ill partner, and indirect care activities such as cooking and cleaning. Whether paid or unpaid, direct or indirect, care work is vital for human well-being and economies. Unpaid care work is linked to the labor market inequalities, yet it has yet to receive adequate attention in policies formulation. Paid care workers such as domestic workers and Anganwadis in India also struggle to access rights and entitlements as workers. The importance of care work is now widely acknowledged and covered in various international commitments such as the Sustainable Development Goals and International Labour Organization ILOs. Since March 2020, the demand for care services has skyrocketed, although the investment has not increased that much compared to demand. The ILO is the only tripartite UN agency which brings together governments, employers and workers of 187 member states to set labor standards, develop policies and devise programs promoting decent work for all women and men. So this year, to commemorate International Women's Day, the ILO brought out its new report titled Care at Work, Investing in Care Leave and Services for More Gender Equal World for Work. So this report highlights the importance of maternity, paternity and special care leave, which help balance women's and men's work and family responsibilities throughout their lives. Furthermore, it demonstrates that workplaces that provide time, income security and space for undertaking care services such as breastfeeding enable positive nutrition and health outcomes. Bridging the gaps in current policies and service provisions to nurture child care and elderly care services will deliver the benefits of child development, aging in dignity and independent living as the population grows older, and also generate more and better employment opportunities, especially for women. Further, author states that maternity leave is a universal human and labor right yet it remains unfulfilled across countries, leaving millions of workers with family responsibilities without adequate protection and support. India fares better than its peers in offering 26 weeks of maternity leave against the ILO's standard mandate of 14 weeks that exists in 120 countries. However, this coverage extends to only a tiny proportion of women workers in formal employment in India, where 89% of employed women are in informal employment as given by ILO-STAT, that is, ILO's Central Portal to Labor Statistics. While paternity leave is recognized as an enabler for both mothers and fathers to better balance work and family responsibilities, it is not provided in many countries, including India. Globally, the average paternity leave is 9 days, which further exacerbates inequity. Access to quality and affordable care services such as child care, elderly care, and care for people with disabilities is a challenge for workers with the family responsibilities faced globally. While India has a long history of mandating the provision of creche in factories and establishments, there is limited information on its actual implementation. There is a scope for improvement in availability, accessibility, affordability, and quality. Working conditions of care workers are another critical gap to address. Though childcare and Anganwadi workers undertake important work and childcare is recognized as professional work in advanced countries, they lack recognition as workers and do not have requisite access to workers' rights and entitlements in India. Domestic workers on whom Indian households are heavily reliant also face challenges in accessing decent work. They became ad hoc care workers during the novel coronavirus pandemic without adequate social and health protection measures. According to the government's 2019 estimates, 26 lakh of the 39 lakh domestic workers in India are female. While important developments have extended formal coverage to domestic workers in India, such as the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Readdressal Act and the Minimum Wage Schedule in many states, more efforts are required to ensure decent work for them. Recognizing care workers and promoting decent work for all, including for domestic and childcare workers, are also necessary for India to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, which have a principle of leave no one behind. They need to enjoy basic human and workers' rights and access fair wages, enjoy a workplace free from violence and harassment, have good working conditions, and access social protection, among other benefits. Right now, India spends less than 1% of its GDP on the care economy. Increasing this percentage would unfurl a plethora of benefits for workers and the overall economy. Therefore, in consultation with employers and workers' organizations and relevant stakeholders, the government needs to conceptualize a strategy and action plan for improved care policies, care service provisions, and decent working conditions for care workers. The International Labour Organization proposes a 5-hour framework for decent care work centered around achieving gender equality. The framework urges the recognition, reduction, and redistribution of unpaid care work, promotes rewarding care workers with more and decent work, and enables their representation in social dialogue and collective bargaining. Care workers should be viewed as a collective responsibility and public good. A human-centered and inclusive recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic that benefits workers, employers, and the government requires a more significant and commitment to supporting the care economy, which cares for the society at large. So this is our first article about care economy. Now let's move to the next article. So the second article which we are going to discuss is Belated Pirate. So this article is based on the recent meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee of RBI. As we all know that there are 6 members in Monetary Policy Committee. 3 are officials of RBI and 3 nominated by Government of India. An MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee, will meet 6 times during this financial year. Generally, MPC should meet at least 4 times in a year. So the article states that the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee has rather belatedly acknowledged that its primary remit is to ensure price stability. It means they will work on price stability. Addressing the media on Friday after announcing the MPCs, Monetary Policy Committee's first monetary policy review of the new fiscal year, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das was emphatic in stating that in the sequence of priorities, we have now put inflation before growth. More than 3 years after it prioritized growth over price stability in February 2019 and well before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the RBI has pivoted back to putting the horse before the cart. Best reflected in the central bank's own words on monetary policy goals, price stability is a necessary precondition to sustainable growth. That it has taken the outbreak of war in Europe with its accompanying commodity price shocks to remind the RBI of the imperative centrality of price stability is a salutary reminder that monetary policy makers can ill afford to be complacent when it comes to inflation. Less than 2 months after it rather sanguinely protected inflation to average 4.5% in the fiscal year to March 2023, the MPC has raised the forecast by a sustainable 120 basis points to 5.7%. And this even as it cut its earlier projection for real GDP growth in the current fiscal by 60 basis points to 7.2%. The RBI also made it clear that while it had left benchmark interest rates and its accommodative policy stance unchanged for now, the time had come to commence the withdrawal of accommodation. To be sure, Russia's invasion of Ukraine was still 2 weeks in the future, the last time to RBI's rate-setting panel finalized its policy review. And yet, the price of crude oil, which Mr. Das cited as the key factor that has necessitated the revision of the inflation projection and the pivot, had already been on the boil since December. The RBI's Deputy Governor overseeing monetary policy, Michelle Patra, had on the other hand at the last MPC meeting starkly warned that central banks have a choice: either accept higher inflation for some time or be prepared to be accountable for destroying demand. As we know, inflation depends on consumer price index. For example, if the price of some goods or anything increases, its demand will decreases because it is not affordable to buy high priced things for a general family. So demand is very important for a good economy, as economy is all about demand and supply. So that's why Monetary Policy Committee said that their primary remit is to ensure price stability over growth. So that's all for today. For more such important videos, stay connected. Thank you.